this country. But I feel like the youth are the present and the future of this country. What do you think, Patricia?
I think for the longest time we kept on saying that the youths are the leaders of tomorrow.
And tomorrow is here.
Yeah, and tomorrow never comes, Yeah, that tomorrow has never come. So I think it's high time that we changed that perception, we changed that narrative that the youth are here, and they are the leaders of today.
I actually want to ask that same question to the youths that we have in studio today. So allow me to introduce, he's no longer actually a stranger to this studio and to our audience, Meshack Kiprotich. He is a KANU National Youth Leader. Karibu sana Meshack.
Thank you for having me.
And we also have Brian Kipkorir, UDA Youth Leader. Brian, karibu tena sana.
Asante sana.
Kuna kwangana rumors fulani juu ya wanaitwa Brayo. Sijui unazijua.
Sema tu. Sema tu. Usifiche.
Liwalo.
You say this is the home of truth.
Yeah. Actually the home of hard truths and bold
ones.
Insights.
So I think you have to be bold and say it.
Yeah. Lakini ndakuuliza kando ya microphone. Hii ni personal.
Yeah.
So Patricia has said that tomorrow never comes, and I'm saying tomorrow is today. It has arrived because back in the day we were being told we're the futures of tomorrow. So in my opinion, it has arrived. I don't know. What do you think? Are the youth ready to take over leadership today?
We live in a country where largely is predominantly because of the majority of the youth people. The 78% are below the age of 35.
Right.
So that is a significant number. And those people who have the energy and they can take the country forward. But remember, taking the country forward, it means you need to prepare mentally. At the same time, you need also to prepare politically.
Yes.
At the same time, socially. So the question should be, are we ready mentally? And if the mindset is right, then it means we can take this country forward. But remember, we do have a lot of challenges as the young people. And the major priority as a young person is to get a job. Once you have the job,
yes,
it's easy to sort out the political issue. And the job is something that it cut across. If people are empowered financially, then now we can say the young people are ready to take this country forward. And that is the tomorrow that we want. The tomorrow that has money. The tomorrow that it empowers the young person to realize their potential in their career, in their fundamental basic of acquiring the needs. But if all these difficulties all encroach amongst the youth, you are being entangled in poverty, then it means that tomorrow even is difficult to see. So as young people, we are ready, but one thing at a time. What do we need first?
Okay.
So that we can achieve that political tomorrow that we wish to achieve.
Actually, Sitimuga has been saying the same thing more or less. He has been saying that it's about the money. Everything circles around money. Once you have the money, a lot of our problems will be taken care of. Meshack, once again, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Same question I'll ask you. Are we ready for leadership as young people in this country?
First off, I'm on record in this studio having said that the youth are truly ready to take over leadership mantles in this country. All these are all entrenched, even constitutionally, that right now our country is at crossroads, and we have the youth being the people who are in the forefront oversighting government.
Right.
There's no bill that passes through parliament without the youth analyzing. There's no bill that there's no policy that gets to be implemented without the youths analyzing. So I want to say that truly the youth are ready to take over leadership positions in this country, and even starting from yours truly, who is the national youth leader for KANU. All this start when we recognize that meaningful political participation is important in transforming this country. And even in today's context, that now we are talking about youth and devolution, it is even more important to talk about all these leadership and governance structures down into our devolved structures. So are the youth leaders for today or tomorrow? I'll proudly say the youth are the leaders for today.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
And I like that bold statement, because we have seen that the youth of this country are no longer afraid of speaking up. I come from a generation where nasi ati ni generation ya kitambo sana. I'm just above you guys by a couple of years, but I come from that generation whereby even speaking up in the homestead was a problem. But I see my cousin Gen Zs and nephews and nieces who are also Gen Zs. Those people are not afraid of calling things out. Whether my grandmother is there, Whether my parents are there, it doesn't matter. They will say what they need to say, and they will say it how they have said it. It's up to you to chukulia. And I think that's some boldness that we need. Yeah. Let me start with you, Kiprop, yeah? Kipkorir.
Kipkorir.
Yes. UDA right now, of course, the party that is forming the government, in charge of the Kenya Kwanza government. And of course, I know you have partners in terms of other parties.
Yes.
But URP's agenda, UDA's agenda, when they took over power, for some strange reason, has been, number one, distorted. Number two, they haven't delivered according to the masses the way Kenyans had hoped they would deliver. In your opinion, because sasa wewe ni mtu wako hapo ndani, where do you think the rain started beating you? If at all it has beaten you.
Okay, per se, I will not say the rain has beaten us so far. Remember, in our agenda, which was in our manifesto plan, the better plan, we came up with the prioritization and this certain objective. One of it was the eradication of hunger, reducing the cost of living, health, also employment, and other three issues that I've not mentioned at the moment. But remember, we had other plans, which one of it was the affordable housing, healthcare. Then we come to education, agriculture, and then we have digital superhighway and creative economy. So all of those things, there are prioritization when it comes to enabling the plan to be achieved. And these enablers are infrastructure. We have medicine, where we cater for the healthcare system. So remember, we have not gone roadside in terms of going astray, but we are doing what we were supposed to do. If it's education, we did it. We had a new funding model. After that new funding model, yes,
which by the people are not happy with, but yes,
they're not happy with. But the question is, did we manage to do it? Yes, but there is issues. Let's argue in the sense of issues. We did universal health coverage, which no any other government have ever done before, based on your financial muscles, not just anybody being the equal minimum. So these are things that we are doing. If there is an issue, we think we have to argue those issues and find solution. We talk about agriculture. We had our own issues. The previous CS handing up, bringing people those kind of fertilizers. Those are the issues that we need to speak of. We have to speak of it. Those are issues we don't discuss now. We have a digital superhighway where we're connecting people with the internet. If not the internet and being not connected in certain edges of the country, also we have to argue why are these places we have not covered. If we are talking about creative economy, what is the government doing about creativity? We need to argue if the issues are not being achieved. So the rain has not beaten us at any point, but the issue is, if there's a challenge when it comes to implementation, we need to argue challenge by challenge and discuss what are the issues coming obvious in terms of this challenge not to be achieved. And in that case, if the cost of living is high, why? But at the same time, we need to ask ourselves, how much do we collect as a revenue in this country? If we are managing to collect 3.8 trillion, then how much is it going to service the debt? And then how much do we have to reserve in our side? So even to balance the foreign balance itself, we need also to understand how much does it cost us, so as to reflect into our own income and say, for the country to be sustainable and manage its own services, this is the amount of money we need to get from the people through the tax. And remember, even the tax itself, one of these quotes is, tulipe ushuru, tujitegemee. So it's obvious that you must pay for the tax and also to be sustainable as a country. But also we need to understand, are these taxes being accountable in the manner that we also want it to be? Those are things that we need to argue and now come out and say we need a proper accountability. So the rain has not beaten us as the ruling party, which we form the government, and we are going to deliver to the maximum. The project that we are doing are very tangible, and I'm telling you, by the time we get that 2-term, things will be just going the way we want it to be.
Well, today we are here to talk about devolution, but I'll still revisit this conversation within this same show.
No problem.
But let me ask you, Meshack, you've heard what your friend has said. I don't know if you guys are in formal employment, but there's this term Kenyans like to use, the payslip has been raided. Pesa inaendelea kuchukuliwa kutoka kwa payslips za Kenya, and it has gotten to a point whereby Kenyans can no longer, like, the money is being taken and there's nothing we can do about it, and because it's, government policy, it's the law, whatever you want to call it. The point is, the payslip has been raided further since KK came into power. So my question to you, Meshack, is, when you're having conversations with youth around this country, what are some of the biggest issues as far as income is concerned? Because if we do not deal with that pesa mfukoni factor, we're going to have a problem. Yesterday we sat here with the CEO of Saiton, and one thing he mentioned was that yes, our pay slips have been raided, and the government is taking care of some issues. For example, we are able to pay our debts. We are able to take care of we are able to take care of some fundamental issues as far as national economics are concerned, but our pockets are empty. So I don't know, Meshack, when you speak to the young people in this country, what are some of the biggest ailments they have?
First off, before I even answer your question, Mongala,
yes,
I'd wish to equally share my profound disappointments with the current regime. And it's quite unfortunate that I'm also getting this from a fellow colleague of mine of this same generation that I am in. The country right now, as I said earlier, is at crossroads. And we cannot continue lying to ourselves that everything is working as it should be. Right now, we are talking about the government delivering on its plan, the better plan. But then, what are the constituents or the citizenry of this country saying about the same? The citizenry of this country are angry because indeed the payslip has been raided. Right now, they've come up with policies that actually get deeper into the pockets of any Kenyan receiving an income from this from all this workload that they have. Today we have a system called Social Health Authority, which was then NHIF in the previous regime. NHIF came in with a whooping 4 billion shillings to cover a dent that was in the previous NHIF. But now we should ask ourselves, why should we come up with another thing instead of correcting the mistake that was in that NHIF?
Right.
So that we can now come up with SHA as another health insurance fund. Today we are talking about the new funding model for the universities. And we saw our students go to the streets saying this fund is not actually good for our studies because it puts students in bands. So how do we get to know who is in this band, what do they use to measure the students and put them in those very bands?
Right.
And today I want to say it is so disappointing that the payslips of Kenyans have been raided.
Right.
And some of the conversations that we have with young people surrounding income is, if indeed we must create wealth as a country, we must prioritize industrialization, not overtaxation. The only way we can create wealth is through industrialization and not overtaxation.
Right.
Thank you.
Interesting. Yeah.
Well, I think I've heard what he said about the issue of the government promised and it has delivered. Na anasema haijalishi. Those problems tutaongea tukisonga songa. So the government has just so,
that is now Brian.
Yes, that is Brian. Yeah, so I'm like, so ni bora kazi ama ni kazi bora. I think that should be the guiding statement. Like, it's not just a matter of delivering. It's not just a matter of coming and saying that I promised you a phone. Look,
now you have a phone.
Nimekuletea phone na simu yenyewe it's not working. What's your thought on that statement?
I think first of all she should withdraw that statement.
I want to speak about Sessional Paper 1 of 1986 on economic management and renewed growth. It came with a policy document whereby it was giving the country trajectory on how it's supposed to invest in its own informal sector so as to create job for the people. And this paper was addressing the issue between 1986 to 2000 sharp. So these were the things that it was trying to predict, that if we are not going to invest in the informal sector and agriculture, it will be very difficult to make sure that we achieve the job onboarding of the people that we have in the formal sector. And this document was giving the right trajectory. That's why it said by 2000, if things are not met, 6 million people will be unemployed.
By the year 2000.
2000.
Okay.
Just imagine. And it came true. because there was no government that put that mandate and ensure that it implement on its manifesto. And that is the same policy document that even the guys from Singapore took it. Now, come 2000, we proceed, the 10 years of Kibaki, we came 10 years Uhuru, then Ruto came in. Ruto came with a plan, a very sophisticated plan, one of the best manifesto actually in Africa, if not Africa, all over the world.
I actually agree with him. It was one of the best manifestos I've ever seen.
True.
That's the best. But remember, the previous government didn't implement, even the Uhuru government had the Big Four agenda. They were the best actually, because that is the trajectory as a country for the Vision 2030. We all do per the vision that we have in our world, economics, superiority. So those were the things that we wanted to achieve. But remember, to achieve these things, there is one issue: financing. And this financing, for Uhuru government, it came from external borrowing and also for the debts. But remember, by the time William came into power, we had a debt that has become to the ceiling point. And if we're going to carry, then it means we're going to collapse. That means the country will be out of the debt. And by being out of the debt, even what we are collecting will end up be paying for the debt. Then it means we have nothing. So we had to come up with interventions. Well, first of it was to save the reservation of the foreign balance. That's why we ensure we have the stability of the dollar reserve in our banks.
Right.
Another thing was to make sure to come with interventions. But we need to ask ourselves, where will this money come from, if not taxing? So it comes a point now, we need to come and to be very critical when it comes to how much do we want to have this country move forward. And then the government now have to think twice. If you are thinking of carrying the debt again, then it means we have reached our ceiling. What do we have to do? We need to give ourselves a priority. How are we going to do this? By taxing people. But not only taxing, but also ensuring that even those informal sectors have been onboarded into the system so that also they can pay for the tax. And this is one of the things that was being addressed in Finance Bill 2024. But because Kenya won't even see that, they say rejected. And it's okay to reject it. But we were predicting that in 2024, the Finance Bill 2024-2025, we have an overboard of 200 billion. So as the time that it reaches 2027, we will have a balanced budget so as to sustain our development. But remember, people need development. But at the same time, we are paying the debt. At the same time, we are paying salaries. So for the country, we were in a situation whereby we need also to think about ourselves and say, sometimes you need to buy the bullet and make sure you implement things that you have promised the people. Because at the end of the day, if you don't implement, you are at home. If you don't tax them, you don't have money. So which one is which one? But because the country is ours, we will tax you because the country is yours. But we are doing these things now for the future, not even for me,
Brian,
for the future.
Let me tell you about the bullet that Kenyans have bitten.
Yeah.
This is the bullet that we are currently biting. The bullet whereby people are going hungry. That's the bullet that people are biting.
Sure.
People have had to divorce their wives and their husbands. Boyfriends and girlfriends have had to separate because of finances. Inafika mahali already mlikuwa mmeshaumia mahali mnaishi. Now you have had to go back to your parents' house, whereby you cannot take your girlfriend or boyfriend back to that house. So you have to separate. Your girlfriend looks for someone who's got money. Mubaba. Sababu sisi vijana tunado. Sawa. That is a bullet that Kenyans are biting. The bullet that Kenyans are biting, then unable. Yesterday we sat here with Dr. Billy. He's a doctor. He's a representative of KPMDU uko sehemu za Central. He told us that people are dying in the hospitals. Why? Because number one, the doctors are on strike. There's an 11-month-old baby that died on Friday. That is the bullet that Kenyans are currently biting. The other bullet that Kenyans are biting, we have got youths who've now gotten into crime because they're unable to provide for themselves and their people. The other bullet that Kenyans are biting, and I'll say this one as the last one because there are very many of them, we can go on and on until tomorrow. The other bullet that Kenyans are fighting is mental health, whereby students such as yourselves maybe have completed their education at the university and they're unable to get jobs, thereby wanachizi, like literally unaanza kuona ni kama wewe ni mtu useless, you're unable to do nothing for yourself, you're unable to achieve anything, so you're a useless person in your own view, in your own mind. So mental health issues are on the rise. That is the bullet that Kenyans are currently biting. And hizo ni zile mimi najua. Hiyo hata si data nimetoa mahali ati
and actually to echo on what he's saying, this is the child that he has talked about, and you said that the administration promised that tutawapatia nini healthcare. He brought in something that has never been done by anybody else. Sawa. Yeah. But then now the issue is see Bora system, because see the damage that it is causing on people.
Yeah.
And especially kama that case whereby it is because of the failure of the system that this child cannot be treated. This child cannot be transferred to an hospital where they could be able to get the treatment they required. So that is the reason why I challenged your statement saying that we promised this and we have given. You see. Yeah. So now let us now come back to the point of now the economy. You have said that the government ikikuja pale imeongea mambo maswala na nini imetaka kuweka okay, all these things that the government is trying to do. Yeah. But now let's look at the budget that the country proposed, and of course it's already in force right now. Look at the things that the government has given a priority. Yeah? Let me ask you, today tuko na shule ambao hawajapata that funding. Capitation. Sawa, hawajapata capitation nini ama the capitation has been reduced, you get. Yeah. So yet we have an allocation here that has been made. Let's say, for example, the one for the renovation of the State House, which is not something that really is so critical for the country as we speak right now. Why is it that the government is not, let me call it your government, is not prioritizing some of these key issues?
Or even maybe I can also add to what you're asking, Tricia, because we are talking about biting the bullet. We have also seen the Deputy President walking around dishing out money in the name of empowerment, where taxpayers' money are being misused in the name of empowerment. And I also wanted to ask this, was empowerment part of the plan they had? Or this is a political move to settle political scores? Because I remember the only plan they had to empower people was the Hustler Fund, which turned out to be a mega saga also in the government. So as we are also asking them of having misplaced priorities, they should also tell us why do they have why are they dealing with a circus that keeps on confusing Kenyans and calling it empowerment, and yet it is just but a scheme to settle political scores.
Brian, over to you.
This is like like, let me not say that, but let me answer.
No, say it. Is it the hot seat?
It's not even a hot seat. I want to say this.
Yes.
We had the budget proposal of the finance bill 2025-2026, and one of the biggest consumer of our budget is education. It took nearly 1 trillion. That is something like 800 billion and 25 something plus. So what does it mean? That our human resource development through education is as far as important when it comes to this country development, because that is the only resource that we have. We are not like Russia, USA or China, where they have big vast of lands, they can mine, they have gold reservations, gold mines, diamond oil, like Saudi Arabia. For ours, we depend on human capital, and that is a good thing. But remember, when we are allocating these, this is the first time that the education is taking the huge sum of budget compared to the previous budgets that has come before. So what does it mean? It means that the prioritization of our government is in education. They understand the importance of developing human capital and ensuring that every child accesses the education. But at the same time, it's also, sometimes it triggers my mind when I see some schools have not gotten their money. At the same time, you through the media, you hear that there's a school somewhere that has been allocated something like 4 billion, but there's no school there. There's no physical good schools there. So sometimes we need to understand ourselves. If we are allocating this budget, we need to also have these people who oversee this budget to a level that they ask themselves, if there's a school in Baringo that it has not gotten the money, or there's a certain ghost school somewhere, where are this money going? And then it's a responsibility of ESCC to make sure that this money, or anybody engaged in corruption, they are being apprehended, to ensure that they make sure that have been jailed, or either way to pay the amount back. This is something, I don't like the way actually our judiciary works, because somebody has stole 4 billion and then you're releasing him in bond of 100 million. No, we want the money back. We don't even want you to be in jail. We want the money back, so as also to fund other things. So some issues as a country, the government may be doing its best to ensure that they allocate the money. Because any moment we develop a policy statement of the budget, we have the prioritization, we develop the budgeting of our own jury in terms of education, security, health, and everywhere. All all elements of the government, and to ensure we fund them fully as per the budget. But at the same time, when we see our money is not used in the right way, what are we supposed to do? We need also to hold these leaders accountable. And that's what, as a Kenya, the place that we have reached as the young people, and it's very obvious that in any moment we see a CS sleeping in the job, where we see corruption going on in their ministries, they should be home. That's not a point of discussion. I don't know why in Kenya, to prove you're a leader, you need to hold on tight in leadership. No, if there is a mistake in your ministry, you have failed to deliver, the best thing you can do is to leave the office and give it the other person who is serious about that job. And if that is the case, actually we should be having the leadership that is very accountable and very having good governance that has integrity for this country. So we must seek on that. Another issue we need to understand also, when it comes to budgeting, remember the government has prioritization. But at the same time, for the delivery of the plan that they have, there are things called enablers, like infrastructure. And this infrastructure actually will always consume our budget. That's why our government, what it's trying to do is to come up with the PP, public-private partnership, to ensure that develop the roads and other things like railways, things like dam, and also other irrigation schemes that they need to come up to ensure that the country access everything equitably. So we need also to understand the things that the government is trying to achieve, but at the same time, remember leadership is integrity. If we don't have the quality of leaders who can be accountable on their jury of their mandate in their ministry and departments, then it means we have a big slap on our face. Because if a leader is not well enough to understand what is going on in their ministry, then it means at the end of the day, even if we allocate even 4 billion, even 4 trillion, the whole of the budget that ministry, you will see here that some school have not gotten the enough capitation, simply because there is no proper accountability, and these are the issues that we need to address. And it's also our prayer that even the Senate and the Member of Parliament to hold these cabinet secretaries and the principal secretaries accountable, and to ensure that anything comes out in their wrong way on their side, either they are being asked properly, they are being oversight, they are being at the same time being impeached, because we cannot be wasting our people money. At the same time we want development, and the other day when they come even to the parliament and start now excusing themselves, this, I don't know this, in my ministry we are going to check, no, there's no checking. If you don't know what is going on in your ministry, then what are you doing there? How is it that the president understands more of your ministry compared to the minister himself?
I'm curious to find out if and this is a question I'll ask both of you. I'm curious to find out if you usually hold the president to account. Number one, do you even sit down with the president, and how often do you do? Do you actually get time, because now you're in UDA? Do you get time to see the president on one, ama unamwonanga once in a very blue moon?
2 months we usually have a sitting, one of the evenings, with the young people,
right?
And the president, at that time even the president don't speak. It's the young people who submit their views on how they want the country.
Do you ask him some of these questions that you're saying here? For example, certain Minister A is not performing, a certain Minister B is corrupt, a certain Minister B has been caught in a scandal, or an MP who is within the UDA ranks is saying certain things that shouldn't be said. For example, there's an MP who said they will import youths from Pokot wakuja wafanya vitu zingine hapa Nairobi. There's a lady MP who said that they're going to steal votes come 2027 if they will not be sufficient. Like, are these questions you actually ask him one-on-one? Because you see, when you come to a station like this one, tutakuuliza. So do you ask so that when you come to a place like this, you actually have the answers?
Let me tell you something about the young people. And these are blatant truth when it comes to our generation.
Right.
When it comes to speaking the truth, that is the only thing that we don't fear. Even me, myself, when I sit down with the president, we usually tell them the reality of the things. Hapa, kitaumana. You remember our comrade there in Kakamega? He told the president that if you don't listen to the people, it will end up listening to the returning officer. And these are things that young people are telling the president. You are the true fan of the president, a true voter. But if you don't tell your president the truth, then who will tell him? But one thing also I want to challenge.
Mukimwambia hizi vitu, for example, the MPs that are talking nonsense and talking, they're dividing the country. What does he say?
One thing about president, you always listen. and he always follow up.
So he doesn't say anything, he just listens.
No, he listens and he follow ups.
Okay.
And then you say, okay, MP A and B say this. I will talk to them. But remember, the character, whatever that comes out of anybody in this life, it is in their own heart.
Okay.
I cannot control your mental attitude or not to speak about. If today I tell you, Ambuvi, go and say Jesus is good, and you reach outside there, instead of saying Jesus is good, you say Satan is good. You know, I will not come and tell you, Bwana mbona sasa umeniruka. So sometimes, as a leader, it has come to an edge whereby whatever that you speak, you must understand we are in a world whereby we are communicated.
Yes.
We are in a global field or a global country.
Right.
Whatever that you speak somewhere will be captured and it will be shared.
Okay.
So you must come and be mature enough to say, whatever I'm going to speak, it must be of good sense, and to make sure that it doesn't come out the way I didn't even expect. So these are things that comes on with leadership training and responsibility. You must be responsible on your words and take charge of everything that you say. So when we end up having MPs who speak just bluntly, then as a country also, it questions also those young people in their constituency. Actually, why did they vote this person?
Me, I'll actually ask Meshack this question. Meshack, what do you think is the problem with the youth as far as that aspect is concerned? You sat here and I confronted you on KANU and I told you KANU wamefanya vitu mingi sana in the past, and you came and you said, look, we're not running away from our past, we're owning it, but there's a way we're going to move forward. But I feel like we're not feeling that from the youths that are in the various parties. I'm not feeling the heat from youth in UDA. I'm not feeling the youth, the heat from the youth in KANU and any other political party that you know might be represented.
First off, this morning I'm shocked that actually all these problems we face as a country normally get to the president's ear, but none of it has actually been acted upon. First off, it's so unfortunate to listen that even MPs who use terms like kura isipojaa tutajaza are still free in this country, and yet when NCIC is an institution that needs to look upon these issues, and I also want to even ask my fellow comrade and brother here that he has said no to corruption. He has said that if we have a problem with a certain minister, a certain institution, we need to call it upon on whatever it is doing. So I want to ask if empowerment money is in our budget. If it is not, where does this money come from? So, and if it is to arrest politicians, I think the first person we should arrest is the deputy president, because we cannot understand where that money is coming from. Now I'll get to your question, Mungala.
Yes.
The heat of the youth in
political parties.
In political parties. I want to say first that political parties are institutions that drive us towards forming governments. And any political party that does not have an idea or a manifesto is a threat to even our national security. So I want to say that meaningful youth participation, more so in political parties, are instrumental in strengthening our democratic processes. Myself, as a youth in KANU, I want to say that we have tried our best to give room for the youth to exercise leadership, and even to strengthen their democratic engagements within our political party. Every political party has a constitution. Every political party, almost all political parties, have manifestos, and it is important that we understand where this foundation of these very manifestos or principles get into our political parties. As KANU, I'll speak about KANU because I myself am KANU. Indeed, I came here last time and we had that conversation that we cannot run away from our past, and that now we are charting our path forward towards making a change, towards making a better Kenya. And these political parties that we are talking about today have proven to be very essential in strengthening youth participation within our country's political demographic. Mongala, if I'm to tell you today, KANU as a political party today,
yes,
is a party for the youth. It's a party that trusts the youth. It's a party that has given room for the youth to exercise leadership. Even our party structures, from the top, from the National Executive Council to the National Delegates Conference to the National Management Council, are all comprised of the youths. The youths are the major components in these very structures, and we are doing this because we need fresh ideas. We cannot continue operating on softwares of the 1980s and 1960s. That is why we need to embrace these youth, give them room for leadership, and let them chart their political path forward. Because I myself, as a youth in KANU, I'm proudly one of the members who are engaged in decision-making processes. And also, there are some of the challenges that face the youth in political participation. And we discovered those challenges as KANU, that we cannot just use the youth to be ceremonial or figurative. We cannot use our youth leagues just to show the people that we have youth leagues in our party. These youth leagues should be performing, should be doing meaningful participation within our political parties. I personally don't know about other political parties, but as KANU, we have done our best in giving room for the youth to exercise leadership. And I don't know why, Mongala, you are saying you have not felt us. Even
I am not feeling you guys, but I am not feeling the heat from political parties as the youth in the political parties. We are feeling the heat from Kenyans, the youths outside political parties, the ones who are partyless, tribeless, fearless, and those other lesses.
I'm even saying this because
Yes.
as the coalition of opposition, because KANU is not in government, we are also embracing the youth even in coalition level.
Okay.
And even after this interview I'm having here, we are going to have a press conference to talk about the state of the youth in this country. We are the same people who went to the streets. We are the same people who have called out the government on its misdoings. I also expect the same to happen in other youth leagues, even in political parties that are in government. I expect the youth league of UDA, under the leadership of my friend, to come out and say, the young people have rejected finance bill. So we must listen to our young people. The young people are saying no to corruption. We must listen to our young people. We must call out. The youth league of the government should be able to go and say, we cannot condone these MPs saying, propagating hate or even corruption and fueling turmoil. Because indeed, if someone utters words like kura isipojaa tutajaza, that one says a lot on itself. But then I wonder why that one cannot be acted upon. And when Rigathi Gachagua says 207 will look like a Christmas party, the NCIC will be too quick to go and ask Gachagua, why have you said this? And yet we have the same animals, the same snakes in government. So it is important that we tell ourselves the truth.
Yeah.
Because, one thing is that rationalization and the incessant search of scapegoats are some of the things that blind us with the truth.
Right.
We must speak the truth. And even, I'm a Christian, even the Bible says, speak the truth and the truth shall set you free. So indeed, I want to say that it is instrumental and essential for the youths to meaningfully participate in political processes and even join political parties so as to drive meaningful change in our country's democratic processes.
Kipkorir, I like the uprising of the young people that we have witnessed from 2 years ago. Yes, but now I still have a doubt. I still have some fears. Are the youths really reliable?
I want to speak categorically on this, and I always solicit to get the views of the young people on if actually they have come to the level of being consciously politically. People grow every time. They grow till they overcome their traditional boundaries. They overcome their own fears. They even overcome their own religion views to have other sub-views when they grow up. So my question always comes very clearly. How many youths in this country, are we politically aligned, at the same time realized? Because remember, even if we are the majority, but in that majority, the minority are the one who are politically conscious, then still that is a problem. You need to also to go back and pull the rest so that you can be in the same page. So sometimes to open these chapters of youths on how they should be politically inclined, aligned, at the same time realizing what it is, how it's very influential when it comes to be politically conscious, is another thing that also young people must be ready to conquer, at the same time to overcome. And this thing is something that I always encourage the young people. You can never come out and point and say, Korir, wewe ndio kiongozi wetu. No, it will be twende pamoja. Because if I'm the one going alone, it means I don't have the backup. I can be compromised if I'm alone. But if we can speak in the one voice as the young people, that this is how we want our country to be, then it has a lot of it when it comes on those statements. So sometimes the young people, I usually feel like, why should we be gullible puppets? Why should we be educated fools? You know, an educated fool, you know very well, but you choose to ignore. You know that very well on coming August 2027. If we vote as the young people in our country, we will win. That is a fact. But we choose to submerge the fact under the water and choose somebody that at the end of the day will come to claim, or as young people, we must start by influencing our own MCS. That's number one. We must elect our own. That is not a debatable thing. You should even, wewe kijana, shika mama yako na dada yako na akili. Unajua, if there is something important in 2027, is to carry this brain software. If this is not working, just sleep. I can tell you that very openly. If your brain software is not working in 2027, you just sleep. I don't see the business as a young person. 2027, you going to voting center at polling station and voting for somebody beyond of age 45. I don't know what you'll be doing at that moment.
In which position? In which position?
Anything.
No, wait. Is the age the problem here?
You do realize President Ruto is above 45.
No, we have not come to national parliament. To in a county. At the county level, I don't see a business of a young person.
Yeah.
You see, before you come for a big elephant, before you even target something big, you must understand the skill of capturing small things.
Okay.
You know, the power of a man always comes from how he negotiates for small things first before going for the bigger things. As something like MCA, where somebody wins with 2,000 votes, why would young people not mobilize enough and have these ones?
Kipkorir, there's people are saying that the Kenya Kwanza government is not a friendly government to the young people, and the reason why they're saying this is, for example, hata tu acha nichukue tu kitu moja, the fact that they want to tax digital incomes. I'm not against taxation. Taxation is very critical in a country, development wise and otherwise. But the youth feel, from the ones I've spoken to at least, they feel like the government is taxing them, yet they have not empowered them on that platform. So you want to tax me on TikTok, you want to tax me on YouTube, you want to tax me on Facebook, na hizo zote. Yet there is nothing as the government you have done to enable me have fluidity and liquidity on those particular platforms. I don't know what your thoughts are on that. And we can pick out many other things where the youth are saying that this government is not friendly to them. Let's talk about disappearances, abductions, and deaths, and so on and so forth. How then do we reconcile that with 2027? Because we are expected to vote, and this same government will come and convince us to vote for them, right? So how do we reconcile that? We are seeing this happening. So it's like they are saying this, but they are doing this. It's just not making sense.
Anything to do with the digital taxation, as far as I understand, we have not come up with a framework and policies that ensure that digital economy goes well in this country. And we cannot reap where we have not sown. You get the point? You know, you cannot harvest where you have not even planted anything. So as a government, actually that is not, I'm not in support of that. And I will never support anything that people are doing on their own sweats, and then somebody come and put some
And
incentives.
you've told the president this.
You know, those are things.
Hii hatutaki, hii prezo hii ni yako.
Hii hatutaki.
Eh,
Hii hatutaki.
umemwambia hivyo.
Hiyo labda ameambiwa. Hiyo mimi sijamwambia.
Personally hujamwambia.
Lakini kuna wenye namwambia.
Okay.
Unaona? When it comes to issues that the government of the day happens on the political spheres and other avenues of other quarters, like abduction. Abduction is not a good thing. No one deserves to be abducted as far as it's concerned, because we're in a country whereby there's room for dissentment. Anybody can view their views the way they want. But the good thing that I also urge the young people is, whatever that we say, may also be having an agenda. Let's not just use words. Let's not misuse our artificial intelligence. Kenya is ranked as the top country of using AI. And that is a good thing. It means the level of our sophistication that we have as a country. We understand a lot. But at the same time, we need to ask ourselves, what are the things that we are doing that end up making our young people being abducted? You know, there are people are different. We are human. Mimi utanitusi nifurahie. Jamaa mwingine utamtusi bwana ako kesho kwa mlango anapanga anakuambia bro, what do you mean bwana? Do you think we are hegemons? It's not because, but at the same time, we are the government. And as a government, we must also be responsible for our citizen, our constituent. And issues like abduction should come very clearly and be trajectory in a way that this is against the law. And anyone who has been abducted also must come out clearly if that person has been released. And also tell us what is going on. Because these guys that have been abducted, they're not even coming out and telling us this is what is happening there. We also want to understand who is abducting who.
Because they're saying they've been threatened, but that's neither here nor there.
So I cannot confirm if they have been threatened. But they are saying have been threatened. By who? We want to also hold these people accountable. You have been abducted, yes.
By who?
By who?
I don't
Tell
know.
us who.
Maybe Meshack knows. Meshack,
Tell us who.
Who's abducting the youth?
First of all, the question of abduction even starts with why have they been abducted?
Yes.
Before we go to the who. And I'd say the biggest crime that young people have done, according to this government, is speaking the truth. When a young person speaks the truth, that person is taken to be rebellious. And I'm not saying this as an enemy of the state. These are matters on public domain. These are things that started last year, 2024, during finance bill protests. And young people, up to date, are still being abducted. Recent case being Albert Ojwang. Why was Albert Ojwang abducted? Why was he killed? I mean, we cannot continue to stay in atmospheres like this. I mean, when young people say Ruto must go, what do they mean? What do they mean? And I'm hearing my colleague's submission here, and I actually appreciate that he has also alluded to the fact that there have been abductions going on. There have been silencing extrajudicial killings. I want to give an example, since my friend has also wanted to know an example. I have a colleague of mine called Cornelius Rono. This guy was abducted last year, just a week before Rigathi Gachagua's impeachment. That was the time when there was too much political heat in the country. And it's on the Standard, and everyone can read, it's on public domain. That immediately he was abducted, he was tortured and being asked, who is financing you? Why are you doing this? You know, the state wants to know that why are you against the government? You see, the issue of abductions is not allowed in the current constitution. And if anything, we KANU have always been accused of being of having a dark past. But then, if there's any dark past that Kenyans will not forget, is this one of this current regime. And I'm saying this because we have a good constitution. By then, we did not have a good constitution as this. The then constitution was allowing for detention without trial. The current constitution does not allow for detention without trial. I mean, if anyone is to be arrested, you must be booked, you must be charged, so that you can be arrested. You cannot just silence someone because of sharing opinion. And I want to say, I want to ask my friend, do you believe in freedom of speech?
I do believe in freedom of speech.
Do you believe of freedom after speech?
One thing we have to understand.
Do you believe?
and I want to be very clear on this.
Wacha atuambie.
There is a freedom of speech.
Right.
Is there freedom after speech?
Freedom of speech is not guaranteed, because assume you have defamed someone through your words.
Okay.
Assume you have alleged something that is not truth. Before even we come out and say, my brother here is blah blah and ABCD, we need to have facts and say, Kiprotich Meshack, the leader of the KANU party, has done ABCD. It's something that you know very clearly in your conscience. That is something that he has done. We cannot come just out and say, this guy is, that is not good. And somebody like me, if you defame me, tomorrow you're in court. Because it is not accepted.
But my freedom is guaranteed until the court process is done.
Exactly.
You see, but if you defame me.
Yes. I've defamed you. There's libel, whatever you want to call
I'll
it.
do libel.
So if today I say something that isn't true about you,
Yes.
I will still be free because you will go to court.
Yeah.
I will be summoned to explain and substantiate whatever I said.
Yeah.
And I will be free until the time when the court decides that Mungala Mbuvi, you said ABCD against Brian Kiprotich, and this is your punishment, either nilipe pesa ama nilale ndani.
Yeah.
But I will have freedom until that determination is made.
But before you go to court, I will go into P3 first. So they can come to you.
But
Okay.
all these processes,
They can come to you first.
because we are
Before you
saying,
go to court.
do you believe that?
Yeah.
Do you say no to abductions, Korir?
I say no to abduction.
So when we have cases of abductions going on in the country,
Yes.
I also expect people from the ruling party, just like you,
Yeah.
to come and say we condemn abductions going on in the country. Has the ruling party done so? Has the ruling party
personally-
done so?
personally-
Because I'll speak of KANU. Because we have been on the front line saying no to abduction, saying no to extrajudicial killings. We have constantly seen cases of police brutality in this country. We have seen people being shot blatantly outside in the streets. We have seen even the recent one being killing of an armed protester selling mask in town, killed by a police. What is the government doing towards this? I mean, has Eliud Lagat been arrested, or is still working? Have you come out and say, as a youth leader within the ruling party, Eliud Lagat must be arrested because he is allegedly the one who caused who led to Albert of the demise of Albert Ojwang.
Well, I mean, the court came up with a different, what is it called, conclusion as far as the involvement of Eliud Lagat is concerned. So I think that one for now, it's not germane to this conversation that we're having. However, I agree with him. There are some things that were said about the Deputy Inspector General, and to be honest, even the public can see that not everything was followed the way they expected it. But hey, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a judge.
Yeah.
I want us to take a short break. We're getting into the news. When we return, of course, we shall look at also the future of the youth as far as devolution is concerned. If you have any questions for our guests in studio, please do so. You can find us on our social spaces. That is Radio Gen KE.
The sound is fine, pump it up, turn it high, all the time. Let the music move you, let's sway. Radio G's got your jam all day.
Radio Generation, the home of urban soul. This is the Radio Generation News.
Good morning, I'm Winnie Maganga. The Intergovernmental Authority on Development has called on young people in East Africa to play a central role in promoting peace and stability. Speaking at the opening of the IGAD Youth Peace and Security Conference in Nairobi on Wednesday, Executive Director Dr. Workne Gebeyehu emphasized that lasting peace cannot be achieved without active youth participation. He said young people should be seen not as passive beneficiaries but as key partners in building and sustaining peace.
As IGAD, we are doing we don't have our own sphere of land, but we are advocating the way that we are doing today, that the users are the driving force. Unless and otherwise, we are inclusive. Unless and otherwise, we search for, the place for the users in terms of economy. We cannot go far. The challenge that we are facing nowadays in the conflicts that are fully participated by the users, so that can be solved, even if there are other factors. Most importantly, having an employed youth is the most important thing.
The government has begun the construction of 1,600 science laboratories in public schools across the country as part of preparation for the transition of students to senior school. According to Basic Education Principal Secretary Julius Bitok, the move is aimed at ensuring a 100% transition of the pioneer grade 9 learners to grade 10. PS Bitok assured parents that 1.2 million grade 9 learners will sit for their final examinations in October will be placed in senior schools.
We have started rolling out the construction of 1,600 laboratories around the country. For those schools, so the small schools which didn't have labs, we mapped out 1,600 of them, and we are hoping that in the next 3 months, all the labs will be ready. In the last 2 years, we have been able to construct 23,000 classrooms around the country to support competence-based education.
Anyone who invades, vandalizes, or destroys government or private property will be treated as a terrorist under Kenyan law and face terrorism charges, according to Interior CS Kipchumba Murkomen. The CS said such actions meet the legal threshold of terrorism, emphasizing that perpetrators will face the full force of the law. Speaking in Parliament on Wednesday, Murkomen cited the June 25th and July 7th, 2025 demonstrations highlighting the destruction of police stations, public offices and private businesses as clear examples of terrorism.
And Mr. Speaker, you don't have to be Osama bin Laden to be a terrorist. It's enough, Mr. Speaker, once you invade a police station, ban a court, ban a supermarket, Mr. Speaker, ban government installation, create fear, use, Mr. Speaker, the opportunity you have to disrupt emergency services like medical services, transport, you are a terrorist. And so, Mr. Speaker, what's on remaining is to go through court process to find out whether Honorable Mukunji is culpable.
Police in Garissa recovered a stolen firearm and several personal items during a raid in Madogo, Tana River on Wednesday, acting on intelligence from a recent robbery report. The operation was led by the Deputy Regional Criminal Investigations Officer for the Northeastern Region, together with officers from Madogo Police Station, following a robbery reported at Garissa Police Station on August 5th. During the raid, a female suspect was taken to a house in Bula Karatasi Estate, where officers recovered a Glock pistol with 17 rounds of ammunition. The suspect is currently in custody pending arraignment. The scope of the video assistant referee in English Premier League might be expanded in the future to include decisions on yellow cards and the awarding of corners, says referee Chief Howard Webb. Webb says the game's lawmakers, the International Football Association Board, is reviewing how VAR operates and is open to discussions about other uses. VAR, which has operated in the Premier League since 2019-2020 season, can currently only intervene in what are perceived as match-changing decisions. This include goals, straight red cards, penalties, and mistaken identity. And that's the truth on Radio Generation. Good morning. I'm Winnie Maganga.
In the beginning, there was more morning radio.
I've never seen anything like this.
But now there is Radio Generations, the people's breakfast. Curious and bold, getting facts from the shadows.
That's what it is.
Now, as the city wakes and secrets stir, a bright new voice shines. The people's breakfast. Your morning, your voice, your journey.
You got it locked.
Good morning.
Good morning, my neighbor.
Welcome to the home of hard truths and bold insights. Radio Generation.
Welcome back. This is Radio Generation. My name is Mungana Mbuvi, and we are with Patricia Wayo in the studio. We also have Meshack Kiprotich, KANU National Youth Leader, and Brian Kipkorir, UDA Youth Leader. Hapa amekarangwa mpaka amekarangwa na rafiki yake. Amekarangwa mpaka na jamaa wa KANU.
Sio karangwa jamani, it's just speaking the truth.
But yeah, I mean, and we need to hold each other to account, because even in the media spaces, when we blunder, we will be called out.
Yeah.
Regardless of what we have done. Anyway, so the conversation is about youth leadership, and of course within the parties. And in this particular hour, we shall also talk about devolution. But before we let it go, I just want to find out from our youth leaders in the studio, and I'll start with Meshack. Just how much authority, power, or influence do you have as far as KANU youth leadership is concerned? You've said that, like for example, today you're having a press conference. You'll probably let us know what the press conference will be about. But in terms of influence within KANU, do you think you're actually influential enough as a youth league to implement or bring about change?
Thank you so much for that question, Mungala. Do the youth in political parties have enough power to actually
affect anything?
To actually affect anything in political parties? So I want to say, for sure, and I've said this even before, even earlier. I said KANU is a party that has embraced the youth in every structure within our political party. And I myself, as the national youth leader, I have the responsibility of actually making sure that our youth league works to the best of its abilities.
Mm-hmm.
The KANU party as it is today is a party that has maintained youthful structures within the party, that has youth individuals leading in all levels of the party. And I'm proudly saying that today because even our secretariat is made up of the youth. Our executive director, who is the CEO of the party, is a youth. I myself am the national youth leader for KANU. And even in critical decision-making processes or even critical decision-making structures, we the youth are considered much to share our insights or even give our way forwards or what we need for the youth league in our party. Myself, I sit in the National Executive Council, where we make critical decisions that directly affect the party. And even within this youth league, I have a responsibility to make sure that even our branch leadership is actually as active as the national leadership. I have a responsibility to make sure that in every county we have youth who can stand forward and say, we need this to be done by KANU party. KANU party has a responsibility to do this for our branch. The youth in KANU today have the moral high grounds and the power to effect policies within our political party. I equally don't know about other political parties, as I said before, because KANU party is a party that has learned from many administrations. You remember KANU party left power in 2002. Mm-hmm. So we have learned from the mistakes of the NAC government. We have learned from the mistakes of the PNU government. We have learned from the mistakes of the URP-TNA government and the Jubilee government. And so we cannot afford to make the same mistakes in the present day democratic processes. It is important as well for the youth to participate meaningfully in political processes. And I'm equally telling the youth today to join political parties, because these are the same parties, these are the same structures that are going to propel youth towards government. Political parties are institutions that create government. or seize political power. If we are not careful enough to entrench the youth into these processes, then we are going to have this as a conversation once and again. And because the youth of today are woke enough and are willing to face political structures, then I'm also telling them to join political parties and ensure that their voices are heard within the political parties.
Well, talking of the youths joining political parties, the other day we had an advocate here who talked of so many youths coming up with new political parties. So maybe to ask, what do you think of these new political parties that the young people are coming up with and their battle with the existing political parties in terms of just the youth, the young people?
It is. I don't want to refute the idea of youth coming up with political parties. It is a good idea to come up with a political party, but what defines a political parties are the principles, are the agendas. What do you have as an agenda? Because just as I said, political parties are institutions formed to form government or to seize political power. So what do you have as an agenda or as a manifesto when you get to now form government? The youth, I want to applaud the youth who have come up with the political parties. Political parties are essential in political processes. And I said here before that chances are very minimal that we are going to elect a president in 2027 who is not from a political party. Of course, anyone we are going to elect is from a political party. It is almost 5% to vote in a person who is independent, who is an independent candidate. So the fight is going to be there. It is not comfortable within the political space. Dealing with the existing structures is something that is going to take blood and sweat. And we must get ready because power is not given, power is taken. So I want to urge the youth to continue voting for any meaningful process that is going to take them forward towards political participation.
Brian, there's that question I'd asked, which you're yet to answer. Yeah. About just how much the youth in your party have influence to effect change. He's told us that in his party they take up a critical role. I don't know, tell me about your role in the UDA as a youth league.
We call it UDA Youth Congress. That is the right
youth
nomenclature.
Congress. Okay.
Yeah, that's the nomenclature. As the UDA Youth Congress, actually, we are very instrumental on running day-to-day programs of the party.
Such as?
Both at the secretariat and at the activity level for politically and also for the communication of the party plan.
All right.
And it is actually in the history of this country, it is the party that has engaged young people across all the regions in this country is the UDA party. And we are doing that because we understand the importance of having the young people on our side. They play the instrumental role to ensure that they shape the future that they want. And we make sure that at the end of the day, whatever that we get from them, we have a memoranda and we submit it to the NEC or through the steering committee of that activity. So has to be submitted to table in the House through the majority leader, either Kimani Ichung'wah or Aaron Cheruiyot.
Okay.
This is something that it is playing. Another thing, the youths are playing important role on whole activity of the party, even when it comes to traveling abroad. Now as we speak, our party, 4 youths at the moment, they are in Ghana with the SG and other people in the party.
Okay.
Currently under the Africa political juncture, where they are going to strengthen the political parties on the importance of ensuring that the party plays the important role of making the Africa realize on its own 2063 Africa agenda, Africa that we want. So the young people are playing that role. Another role the young people are playing is to also be the part and parcel in the NEC meetings. One of the the committees in the party is the conflict resolution committee. That is being chaired by the young person, actually.
Okay.
We have the treasury. At the time when he came in, he was a youth. Japheth Nyakundi, the MP of Kiprotich. Again, we have the secretariat embodied with the young people. where they run the activity of the party. They're the one who approve this budget. Even me, when I want to travel, I want to take my ticket. The young people who approve my budget. I can tell them, "Well, boys, wanichelewesha bwana, nieke hii check niende," because is my peer. So the young people are playing activity day by day. But we are not saying that being young also give you an assumed role that you can do everything at your own. It's very important that you work in partnership with the old people,
right,
so as to gain this knowledge, at the same time disseminating in the right way. Okay. So the young people play instrumental role in the party because they are the future of that party. But at the same time, it's important to work together in a way that it bring an mixture of good working environment between the old and the young, at the same time respecting each other in the political space.
Meshack, Dr. Barak Muluka, he's a SecGen of Democratic National Alliance.
Yeah.
He sat in that chair and he said that in his party, come 2027, the old generation are not going to they're not going to run for any seats, any political seats. Yeah. I don't know how true that is, but I'm hoping he didn't lie to me. Okay. So he was saying that they're going to leave it to the young people, the MCAs, the MPs, senators, the women rep, and so on and so forth. I don't know if they have a presidential candidate, but he was telling me that for them, that is the direction they want to take as DNA, and they are going to mentor. They are already mentoring young people to actually take up these positions. Some of these young people are very popular individuals, probably even been in power before, but they're going to ensure that these people that we like to call the old guard, sasa wakae kando. What are your thoughts on such a strategy?
That is a very good strategy towards fostering for youth participation in politics. And I equally want to say that we also did that much earlier, even including waiving application fees for youth candidates, so that you can actually motivate them to vie for these political seats.
Right.
These electioneering processes are processes that need critical strategy, that need consciousness. And I want to applaud Derek for that very, very move. And I also want to say that it is something that all these political parties must also embrace. I want to see tomorrow my fellow colleague here vying for a member of parliament seat with his political party, and he is not actually forced to step down or something, being told we'll give you a position in government. His interest must also be considered as a member of a political party and as a young person who is equally political work to transform political changes in the political processes in this country. KANU as a political party, as I said earlier, is also doing the same, embracing the same spirit of youth leadership. And even myself, I want to speak here today as a candidate in 2027, because I'm also going to vie for a political seat. And I also want the same old guards to come and say, it's now time for this generation to take over leadership. Because I'm saying this because, as young people, we are so much concerned about our governance in this very country. And the moment people like me and my colleague here get into parliament, I'm sure that the finance bill is not going to be pushed on our throats, that policies are not going to be made without our consideration, that now we can actually sit down and occupy parliament not as activists but as members of parliament.
Okay.
That even in our devolved structures we can have young people taking over MCA seats, and so that they can also foster for meaningful change even in the devolved structures.
Brian, same question. What do you think about that strategy? Young people first, wazee wakae kando, kazi yao tu ni kuguide. Ukikuwa na shida as an MP or as a senator, you can call Kimani Ichung'wah na umwambie, hey boss, hebu niambie, how do I navigate through this? But Kimani anakaa kando.
That is the way to go. I remember my brother said any man in a political party without political ideology is a threat to the national security. And that is the philosophy in any political party. A party is driven by ideologies, and those ideologies is like the core principle on modus of operandi in any party. We must understand that. And that's why day by day, if the young people are going to be mentored rightly, they are going to invest on them on the right ideologies, on how to have political accountability and economic transformation. And through political parties, this is the way to go. And I'm telling you, as the UDA party, actually, we have our own academy for the young people.
Like a football academy.
Yes, where we train the elites, the young people particularly. Nobody beyond the age of 30 actually. Is the age of mine, like 20 is early and to 30. We are training them on political ideologies and how the party and political parties play the critical role in forming the government, bringing the economic transformation, at the same time holding the political class accountable, and also be the messengers and the ambassadors of their citizenry. That is very important to make sure that the young people realized how much they play this largely, broadly base in terms of influencing the policies and also envisioning the country that they want. That's why that's the right trajectory, and I will always support anything to support the young people.
Still at it, I see all of you are saying that your parties are really giving the young people their space in terms of the party politics. Sawa. Then now the question is, we have seen before how many leaders young people who want to become leaders in those parties during nominations inafika mali they are short-changed. So now the question is, as we head towards 2027 elections, how are you prepared? Yes, political parties come out and say that we are supporting the young people. Yeah, we are giving them their space. But then when you go to the nomination level, you realize that wanatolewa, they get shortchanged. How are you prepared for that?
I will answer this way. Remember, in political contest, we usually have some classes that comes out during the political processes. And these classes comes out in major factors: financially, influence, where you're coming from, also the tribe that you're coming from. I won't say tribe, being a tribe A, B is a bad thing, but we can use our tribe in a positive way.
It has been used before, yes.
If you're a good leader and I'm a Kalenjin, and my constituency is largely for Kalenjin, and I say, as Kalenjin, I want you to elect me because I'm a good leader for you, that is positively. But if you're using tribe in balkanization, that is bad. So, majorly these things comes out when we are playing politics. And when it comes out, we need to ask ourselves, is this person that we are fronting as the party? You know, when you're being fronted as a party, you're not being fronted as Kipkorir or Treasure,
yes,
or Mbuvi. You are being fronted as the party, as their member of parliament or the senator or the governor. They will have a lot of modules on how to assess you. If you don't fit in and you have some influence, they will tell you, okay, we have this person A who is more influential than you. It's easy for him compared to the other person vying in the other party, because these are contests. If you don't have the right man or the right lady, then it means a lose. So you need to prioritize those factors. If the young person is the influential one, why don't you carry the day? And if you're not the influential one, they will tell you this is how you're going to be the speaker. But in politics, when you're told being going to be a speaker, make sure you sign a contract, because this is the game and you must know how to play this game. So the young people don't feel to be left out in terms of whether they're going to be given nomination or not. But why am I saying this? You must work on your influence at your constituent level. So as when the negotiation time come on table, you have things to say, man, I can put this on table. Don't just come with word of mouth. You can be a good guy, liberal in terms of policy making, but you're not influential and you're a young person. What can we do?
Tricia, I'd like to equally say that as youth leaders, we must also come out clear and say we need free and fair nominations to our candidates. We must also sit down as leaders of the youth leagues and front our candidates for areas that we have interest in or areas that we have candidates in. We must come out and say, the elections board or the management of nomination should also be comprised of the youth, because these systems should also run with the youth in it. No, we must leave no stone unturned. We are going for those seats, not to, and also as we go for these seats, it should also be not we are going for it because we are young. We are also going for it because we are possible we are possible candidates who can also bring that seat home.
Yeah.
And so as youth leaders and as youth leagues, we must come out clear and call out our parties and tell them, we need free and fair nominations. We are moving out of tribal politics, ethnic-based politics, and now we are going into issue-based politics. So as young people, we must also come up with the best ideas, best manifestos, best agendas that can actually suit our constituents, that can actually turn into political relevance, political numbers, and political votes, so that we can actually occupy these political seats now as politicians or as sitting policymakers.
You know why I highlighted that? It's because we had a young lady here who vied for was going for a position, and she was shortchanged, despite the fact that she had the numbers, she had the influence. So those are some of the challenges that we see at party levels, yes, nomination levels. Those are issues that we see. So it was just a question to maybe to keep you alert on what maybe could be expected. Yeah.
Thank you.
So a few shout-outs here on social media, starting with YouTube. Kuna Michael Olande anasema good morning. Tunechi as well, good morning. Football sure tips, also saying good morning. Zach okay. Then there's Jack's Connect. Kuna Abokas ambaye pia amesalimiana, na kuna Abraham Leting. So thank you, keep on listening, of course, keep on sending your shout-outs. Shall definitely highlight them. There's this thing about devolution. Right now the president is in Homa Bay. Anafungua the devolution conference. We've been seeing these conferences over and over, and my opinion is that some things are working, some are not. Let me start by asking you about the position of the woman rep, and I'll always ask this question. Brian, your position unaona ikitusaidia?
I usually ask myself, was it sustainable enough to bring that position, and to which level? Because in a democratic country, we are told that the winner, or the one who garner the majority of the votes, is the winner, not by gender. The word is winner, the one who emerges the winner.
Right.
So I don't see the essence why will someone be excluded and given a platform in their specification of the agenda. That is actually, I think that is it's an inclusion in a way, because I thought these women rep, it was to empower women to realize they can play an influential role in terms of playing part in politics. But when you look into our history, Kinaphobia CEO, the RIP deceased one,
the late lady, yes.
Yeah, the late lady, he played the role, but there was no women rep. The one for Kamba people, what is the name? The Mijikenda, and during colonial eras, they played the role of fighting for their people. So women has been part of the fighting for this country. There is no point there they have been excluded. Actually, even the mama, when they were in the forest, they weren't taking care of their families. And if they were not the one to take care of these families, we could not be having this independence that we are talking about. Women have been part of political and leadership of this country. And for me, I feel like if we are talking about a women rep, it's higher time also, if that is the case, we consider also a men rep. Because
we are trying to cut down on the weight bill.
Because let me tell you something. This thing is not sustainable. It was to give the other gender a realization that they can play an influential role in politics, particularly under this new constitution. But they have realized it. What do we have to do? We need to drop it. Because now, women know they can also be MPs. We do have them. We have 7 governors, G7. Yeah, we even have to call them W7, if that's the case. Because they have understood the mandate. They can play an influential role to govern, to represent, to legislate, and also to lobby policies that help people to progress. So I think it's our time we drop that women rep, because we have had enough of it.
Meshack.
Well, I just before we leave Brian,
I was going to come in.
Well, yeah, because it is important. Because first of all, like when you look at that position, you're saying, of course, it was to bring that realization that women can also take up these positions, leadership positions, which is true. And again, there's also this other one that you're not talking about, the 2/3 gender rule, which we are not yet there. So for me, I will still support that position still continue. It's only now that the women now need now to up their game. There are so many things that they are not doing right. Those who are in that position, there are so many things that they just need to up their game so that now we can feel the impact of that position. When you say that, okay, there's something I'm forgetting. You had talked of. I'll just remember as we continue with.
Let me say something.
First off, I want to agree with Tricia that the women rep position is very critical in achieving the 2/3 gender rule.
Yeah,
and we are not yet there as a country. And it's even entrenched in our constitution, in the 2010 constitution, that we must also recognize women as potential leaders in our country. But also these positions should be merit-based. They should not just women reps should not just come in because they are women. This position should be merit-based. I mean, we cannot have people sitting in parliament in the name of women reps, and yet they don't know what actually they should do in parliament as women representatives. We have many challenges facing our women back in our societies. And it is upon these women representatives to come forth and push forward the agenda of women in our country. I mean, these are the same people who should be talking about menstrual health. These are the same people who should be talking about challenges that face the girl child in our institutions. These are the same people who should come out and talk about rape cases, about femicide, about female genital mutilation. These are the same people we expect to talk about morality in our society. And I want to say that position is very critical, not only for our constitution, but also even for our societies. Women have what it takes to be leaders in this country.
True.
It is. We have seen women who have fought for their positions. We have seen women who are parliamentarians, who are governors right now, who are senators, and I equally applaud women for taking up charge and becoming figurative leaders in our politics. And I also call upon women to also support their own, so that they can also even reach a place where we have a woman as a presidential candidate in this country. We have not had a woman as on top of our leadership structure for long. And it's a conversation that now we must now start having as a country, so that women can not only look at these women representative positions, but also they can look at the bigger picture or the bigger type of representation they can have in this country. Thank you.
The reason I asked about the woman reposition and its relevance in governance, it is because of the fact that in the last 12 years of devolution, to be honest, that position has delivered nothing. And I can be corrected, please, feel free to do this. The women reps that we've had, I have not seen something that is significant that they have done that a man could not have done. You've mentioned stories as sanitary towels for the ladies. That is legislation that even a man can come up with. Fighting for their rights to access certain things. Those are things that can be fought for by anybody who is not even an MP or a senator or a governor for that matter. Right now, Patricia Wayua can stand and present a bill in parliament. Yes, through proxies or even by herself. And those bills can be debated and laws can be made out of those bills. Patricia doesn't have to be even a radio presenter, forget even being an MP. She just has to be a Kenyan citizen. So, to be honest, I do not see what they do. We have not seen them do anything significant in parliament, apart from once in a while, do things in public that just unite Kenyans, So, the reason I'm saying this is because we are paying taxes and these ladies are receiving a salary every month. Now, if we just take a round figure of $1 million bob that MPs receive, it could be more, it could be less, but if we just take a round figure of $1 million and we multiply that by 47 women reps,
7 million,
that is 47 million every month. If we multiply that money by a year, you do the math, that's a lot of money. If we multiply that money by 12, not 12, but by 5 years that they're in power, That's a lot of money. That is money that could have gone to healthcare. That is money that could have gone to education. Right now we are having issues with capitation. That is money that could have gone to help people with disabilities. That is money that can actually go to very many places that are not even in my mind right now. So ile bara mmekuja hapa hivi nje iko na potholes. Hiyo ni pesa ingetengeneza ingejenga hiyo barabara. Why do we still have this position? Yet we already have women in parliament who've been elected, that we are not necessarily elected as women reps. We have women who've been elected in just kawaida constituencies. Those women, in my opinion, can do that work. In the Senate, we already have 16 women serving as senators. They can do that work that the women rep are doing, because there's nothing unique about women in Nairobi that is very uniquely different from women in Turkana. Yes, Turkana has a few hardships here and there, but it can still be done by the few women that are already in elective positions, and it can then also be done by men who are in elected positions. So again, I beg to ask,
why are you looking at me?
Because you're a woman.
Why are you looking at me? This is a position.
I've actually looked at all of them.
Yeah.
Na nikamalizia na wewe. No, but in all honesty, perhaps it's time we rethink. Perhaps if we do not then get rid of the position, at least we give it some more responsibility then. In that case, if they have got to be there to fulfill the 2/3 gender rule, if it's such a critical thing, I think we can rethink about the responsibilities.
Well, we can rethink about the responsibilities as well as the budgeting. Because I tend to believe that position is not financed as these other positions that we are talking about, that we can see and tell this is a fruit of this position. So as we talk of giving responsibilities, more responsibility, let us also look into the fact that these people need financing.
Yeah, I want to speak about to that rule. Why to that? When you speak about 2/3, why 2/3? The reason why you want 2/3 is because we have not have that balanced gender equality inside the house. But at the same, we have to ask ourselves, what is the criteria of those members of parliament and senate to be there? It is by the virtue of contest under their parties and also in their political space. Everyone is contesting based on their influence, their manifestos, their plan for the people, not because of gender. I've never seen an MP coming because I'm a man, vote for me. I usually see, as Brian, I want to do this for you, I want to help my people, I want to build school, and that is the criteria where people are being elected, based on merit. I've never seen a criteria of gender. And that's why women have been empowered enough. I want to tell you the reality. They have been actually, there's somebody who have been left out in this country is the boy child. Actually, if that is the case, if that's the reality of today, the boy child has been left out. If is that the case, the boy child has been left out. Another thing, we have an attorney general. That's a lady. That's the truth. We do have judiciary, the chief justice.
Yeah,
that's a lady. They have been empowered. It's only that. I think the most important thing is the mindset. Does it have to be in politics only? No, it has to be all quarters of life.
Okay,
and that takes us to why did where does devolution come in all these discussions? You in historical context, you'll remember KANU of having something called Majimboism. Majimboism was a Swahili word that refers to devolved structures based on regions. But then, just as Wangari Maathai once told us, in the course of history,
yes,
there comes a time when humanity is called to shift to a new level of consciousness. And that is where now the drafters of the 2010 constitution came in and actually saw it was that we must have a woman MP sitting in parliament, voting for women interest at parliament. Women form a critical structure called SIGs, special interest groups, which is made up of the youth, the PWDs, the people with disabilities, and the women. And this very position was brought in so as to integrate the SIGs to feel, because for quite some time, even in Majimboism, this very SIG group was marginalized. So it was brought about to foster for inclusivity. devolved structures came in, or county governments came in first to transfer power and to even localize, to ensure that there is inclusivity in our governance structures. So I equally want to say that it is paramount and very important to have that seat of women representative for inclusivity matters, because women form part of the special interest groups. And I'm saying this not that I want to be in good books with our women, but women have proven leadership, even in historical context. Just as my brother said,
Yes.
we've seen women who fought for our independence. We know of women who have stood up and forthright in championing for the interest of this country. So I want to say that it is very important to not to scrap off that seat, but continue maintaining it for inclusivity purposes.
For prosperity.
And also for the respect of devolution.
Yeah.
And for the respect of our constitution.
And again, if you could just Google and check on what percentage of women are in leadership just across the world, you realize that we are still so far away. I should be around 20 something women in power, women in leadership. So
you mean like presidents or what?
Just in leadership, just leadership in general.
In Kenya we already have 47 women reps, and those are women in leadership.
Okay, these ones, and this
you mean 27,000?
No, forgetting about now that this one was just to come and be able to bridge the gap. Which the gap of the 2/3 gender.
We have ministers.
So without
the
that, literally the percentage would be too low. That is for women in leadership, women in power. And again, looking at your argument, when you say that this position needs to be scrapped off, it's just like also saying that now the equalization fund for the counties should be scrapped off. Just also like we also need to reconsider the position of the deputy governor.
But the equalization fund has a purpose and it works.
So the same purpose.
What? No.
Yes.
Listen, and that's why I said, to be honest, and if we're being honest, me, I'm a father to girls. My partner is a woman. I was born by a woman. So there's nothing unique about them apart from their gender and their anatomy that really, really, really honestly warrants the position of a woman rep. Okay? Because whatever issues, for instance, there's nothing about my children that I do not know. And I take care of the needs as they are presented. Okay? There's nothing about my partner that I do not know. And I take care of her needs as they have been presented. What I'm arguing against is the fact that here there's a lazy situation whereby, it's like saying, let's make Meshack president because, hey, we need someone of his height in this studio. Sisi wengine wote ni wafupi, lakini he's the only tall person, he has to be represented. We need Meshack to actually offer us something of importance. Ndio by the time tunampatia hiyo leadership position on account of his height, he's actually contributing. Si kazi yake anakulanga mshahara kila mwezi sababu ni mrefu. Wewe unaamka kila asubuhi, by 6 a.m. you're here, you do the newspaper review, you're the one who's taking care of the guests, you're doing da. After this you go meet clients. Meshack anatokezeanga tu because he's tall, anakula mshahara. So he doesn't even have to wake up early in the morning. Because we have seen that even in parliament, not all of them are active in debating, they're not active in presenting bills.
Same as MPs also, not all of them.
There are some, but I'm saying, you see this position, my problem is the only reason it was created was to fulfill the two-third gender rule. It is doing absolutely nothing else. And that's why I said, on account of him being tall or having an afro, sisi wengine wote hivi ni vipara. Sasa tunampatia kazi juu yeye ni afro. You get? So that's my argument anyway.
So and I think that is where Tricia came in and said that office also needs funding.
Yes.
So that it can also perform its duties and also to be added responsibilities as well as to move on its operations.
And my conclusion also is the fact that let us not demonize that position. Let us just look at the people who are getting into this position. Let the question be the people who are getting into this position, the people that are being elected to this.
You're from Mombasa.
Yes.
Has your woman rep done anything for you that you can say, wow, isingalikuwa ni huyu mheshimiwa? Nothing.
Well, like we have talked of the special, the minority groups and the people who are able differently. There is a lot that these women do, by the way.
Don't forget, we already have.
There are lots.
We already have MPs in parliament representing PWDs.
Yes, but when it is your responsibility, of course, you'll do it with you'll give it the energy that it deserves, because it is falls under your responsibility. You get? So the police
on a short commercial break.
Meshack. And I understand. But anyway, I think we'll probably invite a woman rep one of these fine days.
Yeah, sure.
Atueleze, because perhaps mimi pia ninaweza kuwa ninaelewa vitu zangu. But I want to go back to this devolution conference. It's been 12 years, right? Have we realized the dream of devolution, or the fruits of devolution? Brian, mko na makipi wengi hapa kwa studio leo.
Yeah, it's a blessing by
Yes,
to have kips. Yeah,
the
good
house.
men.
So Kipkorir, kuna kitu tumefanya na hiyo position? I mean, devolution imetusaidia.
So far so good. But remember, we do have challenges as a country on how to manage the little resources that we have. Remember, President William Ruto yesterday signed amendment of the allocation for Amendment Act 2023 into law. The counties, 47 counties were given 415 billion. That is a good boost for them. But also we need to understand, we have all those other counties where they are being also included in the ASAL, arid, semi-arid lands, where they have their own challenges. They need also to be considered in terms of allocation. All of these things came because we wanted to devolve or to have sub-national government whereby they can run their activities based on their people, which is something that is very centric, because the issues of Northeastern is not same as issues of Rift Valley as compared to coast. So all of this came to make sure that the services can come close to Mwananchi. And it has done a lot, truly, but we still have a long way to go. Because remember, one of the challenges that is really making this devolution not to work effectively, number one is corruption. Number two is how they manage their resources. Number three is having the servants that consume the entire budget of which had been allocated for development. So these are things that I think the members of parliament, the young people, should lobby for the policies that will ensure that devolution works per the purview that we intend it to be. So devolution has done the best, but we do have challenges, and that's challenges where now the policies need to come in place to make sure we have the good management of our government in county levels.
Yeah, Meshack.
I want to equally agree that devolution has been a success in our country and has been a blessing, because this devolution has been the transfer of power, functions and resources from national government to county governments under the 2010 constitution. But we must also agree that even with its all successes, we also have challenges that face devolution. And even in today's newspaper, as I was coming, I saw the president equally alluded that there has been issues of corruption, and corruption has been an animal eating on devolution. I mean, we cannot move towards our goal if we continue having discussions about ghost workers. If we will continue having, if the youth, because we are talking about devolution and the youth are still complaining about issues of misrepresentation, where you will find county executive officers representing the youth are not even youth. Where, and I'll give an example with even my county, Kericho. Our CC for youth is 62 years. So what can we talk about youth?
You must solve that.
What can we talk about youth if we are still talking about misrepresentation, if we are still talking about corruption? Do you know that towards 2022 election, we had 10 billionaires into our system, and these billionaires are governors. These are people who are being investigated because of corruption cases, because of misappropriation of funds belonging to county government.
Right.
And this is something that it has been a major setback towards the achievement of successful devolution, because there's nothing we can do in our devolved units without funds.
Right.
And I also want to call on the government to equally release these funds earlier enough so that it can perform its duties. I also want to call upon ESCC, the DCI, to investigate any cases of misappropriation of funds.
Right.
As you are aware, right now, even in Kericho County, where I come from, the governor is facing an impeachment motion because of misappropriation of around 85 million. So if we are going to achieve devolution, and if anything, if the devolution conference of Homa Bay is going to be successful on its agenda, so that when we are having devolution conferences, we can talk about our successes. We must talk about the elephant in the room.
What do you think about NGCDF though? There's this whole issue that it should be scrapped. And in my opinion, I think it should be, because it has taken away the role of Parliament completely. Parliament has forgotten their work is to oversight.
I equally want to agree that NGCDF must be scrapped off.
Yes.
Parliament should be a house of oversight and representation.
Period.
There's nowhere a member of Parliament should come in contact with money. This money should even be consolidated and even be shared now to our devolved units through county governments, so that it can perform its duties towards that level of devolved units. The constitution is very clear on the work of the legislature. Legislature's work is to represent and oversight.
Yeah.
Anything apart from that is not their
illegality.
duty. It's an illegality, by the way. So NGCDF is an illegal thing that should be scrapped off, and I'm of the idea of the same.
Yes. Kipkorir.
NGCDF, first of all, iko na role yake. Number 2, mwenye anaitumia ndiye hafai. It should be considered otherwise, have the policy framework that will also streamline it towards the for the constituency, that the amount that are being allotted to each constituency, yes, good, but the individual doing that should be a different person. There should be committees which is being oversight by the same Parliament, but not the Parliament doing that work. So I think that should be scrapped, and we must also learn to follow the constitution. You know, our problem as Kenyans, we are not alive to the fact that we need to follow this constitution. You cannot be a leader who don't follow the purposeful document that we intended to follow. And it's very clearly, we told ourselves that we give it to ourselves, for ourselves and for the future generation and for our children, whether we like it or not. So we must get used to follow this constitution, and for that reason, we must ensure that at the end of the day,
yes,
this NGCDF is scrapped from the members of Parliament, so as to have the member of Parliament who debate national issues in a way that is needed.
Maybe the women rep will be active now. You must say something, Patricia.
Okay. Sawa. Anyway, when the 2010 constitution that gave birth to this devolution, I think it had envisioned working on this issue of marginalization. Sawa. When you talk of marginalization, we will not talk of it and forget about the young people. So the young people, especially in the national government, of course, we would say it's like they were marginalized in terms of their involvement in decision making, their involvement in law making, and so forth. So I want to understand, now that there is this devolution, has it really addressed issues to do with the youth, the young people, and especially in terms of leadership and so forth?
First off, why devolution matters to the youth is because, first of the population power. The youth make up the largest population of the youngest population is up to 75% of our Kenyan population. So any mistake towards devolution affects them directly. This also is important to the youth because there are benefits or opportunities to reap in devolved units, including even what do we call these programs where youth are supposed to take 30% of tenders, of county government tenders.
So is that happening?
I want to say that has been a major setback also towards youth and devolution, because we have seen cases, and not once, not twice, where MCs take up the opportunity of tendereering businesses or doing government tenders that actually should be done by the youth. And devolution has for the longest time not respected the voice of the youth, because they are, first off, because of misrepresentation, the way I said it, and because of tokenism, where youth are given responsibilities, but they do not actually live up to that responsibility or even perform the same responsibility they have been given, where you are given a figurative or ceremonial position, but you're not given the power to actually actualize that responsibility of that position. So devolution has for the longest time not respected the youth, and I'm certain that as we continue having these conversations, and even as we continue having devolution conferences, we must also see where our youth can actually be considered, even in public participations, where youth can actually take part in budget making processes, and take part in voting for policies or budgets that can actually go to their favor. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We're almost coming to the tail end of our conversation. We have about 3 minutes to go. And I want to take your final thoughts as far as devolution in our country is concerned. We are seeing lots and lots of issues with our governors, and especially when it comes to matters of accountability. Recently, the COG walisema wataki kuauditiwa sababu auditing inachelewesha services kufikia wananchi. I don't know, Kiprotich, in your opinion, do you feel, actually let me just start with Brian here, do you feel like they are justified in some of these actions they're taking? I feel like the COG has got so much power, and they are stifling development by literally coming between accountability and service delivery.
Accountability is as important as it is, first of all, as we have to remember, because when senators are holding this governor accountable, is to ensure that they understand how these resources are being utilized at the county level. And I don't see the point why should be accountability be the reason why it delays allocation of the resources. And because one of the things that we need to also to ask ourselves, are these governors doing the right thing? Is there a clean governor who has not been engaged in any corruption?
Yeah. Kivuta Kibwana, former governor.
Former.
Yes.
True, that's good. But he's former.
Yes.
We're talking about it now.
Yes.
So those are the things that we need to ask ourselves. If they are doing the right thing, then it means even the accountability itself is a simple task. Because you're just as clean as, maybe, not even Jesus was clean. I don't know who is clean. As
they
a
say
baby who is born.
They say as clean as a whistle.
Yeah, that's way. So I think they need to also to be as good as they are, in terms of making sure that they are not engaged in these alleged corruptions. So as whenever they have these accountability tests before the Senate, they are clean also. They don't even waste time on their allocation. So I think it's very important, first of all, the leaders to be accountable for themselves before the House. At the same time, the House, which is the Senate, to make sure that they have the accountability which is based on the Constitution. Not because they want to be bribed or they have those kind of favoring accountabilities. No. Something that is very legit and as per the Constitution.
All right. Kiprotich.
First off, I want to say that the youth are a resource to be invested in. And the youth should be trained towards today's economies, towards today's jobs, towards today's innovation. And devolution plays a critical role in achieving this. And for the youths, we must also talk.
Yeah.
And we must also say there is nothing for us without us. Kenyans youth are not a challenge to be managed. They are a force to be trusted. So it is important that we entrench these very youth into our devolved systems and actually consider their thoughts and their insights so that we can manage the successes of the devolution with our youth. So we must also end tokenism for the youth and embrace partnership because we want a devolution that delivers.
All right. Thank you very much, gentlemen. You said you want to run for Senate?
I want to run for Senate, Kericho County.
Kericho County. We wish you all the best.
I really appreciate
when the time comes, we shall ask you to come and sell your manifesto. And I hope itakwanga ile ya kusema na kutenda, ya kutenga na kusema alafu tumeka mikakati.
And before I forget,
yes.
I think very soon,
yes,
I'm going to be the CEO of NYC. I must make the youth to realize the functionality of that office.
Okay.
And I'm very serious.
Yes.
Next time you call me here, the matters of NYC.
Just to be clear, NYC stands for
National Youth Council.
The only body for the youths, and it's not functioning.
Okay. Not New York City, eh?
Not New York
So we wish you all the best as far as also that is concerned. Na utarudi hapa utuuzie sera zako pia tujue and also what you're doing to hold UDA accountable. Kuna vitu zinafanyika huko ndani hatufurahi.
Tutanyorosha
na tuseme ukweli, si ndio?
Ukweli lazima iseme.
All right, that has been Meshack Kiprotich, the KANU National Youth Leader, and the last voice you heard there was of Brian Kipkorir. He is the UDA Youth Leader as well. We were talking about the youth and of course